morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our special broadcast, Back to the Past, where we bring you the news and cultural developments from the former years. I'm Susan, and joining me today is Nancy.
Good morning, Susan, and good morning to all our listeners out there. Today is January 1st, 1960, and we're traveling back in time to reflect on the decade known as the Fabulous 50s.
That's right. In today's program, we'll take a deeper dive into the cultural and economic factors that shaped the 1950s and how they have continued to influence the way we live today.
So let's start by taking a look at some fascinating images that showcase the incredible evolution of culture during this time. Our first image features a group of fashionable women showing an excellent representation of the iconic style of the 1950s.
When you look at this image, the first thing that stands out is how many accessories play a part in the outfit. Whether it's hats, gloves, purses, canes, or bags, they're all an essential to the outfit. This has been made possible because of the end of World War II, with the shift of economy from military to consumer goods. More people being able to buy goods that they want and not need.
Exactly. And interestingly enough, only 3 of the women in the image are wearing pants. This reflects the gender norms and the expectations of the time. Women were still expected to wear dresses, and pants were worn on occasion, often in more casual settings.
It's important to point out that the women in this image are all white, which highlights the fact that these types of outfits were often reserved for the wealthier people in the society. These women would have shopped in more expensive stores found in better shopping malls.
That's right. And if you look closely at the dresses, you'll notice the influence of the Hollywood's actress and model Marilyn Monroe. Her iconic style of colorful long dresses had a huge impact on fashion during this decade. Women were especially inspired by her looks, being that they were housewives and mothers who spent their time at home listening to the radio or watching television.
Indeed, Marilyn Monroe's influence can still be seen in today's society with the ideals that women have aspired to and in some ways have been socially forced to fit in. In 1950s was truly the time of the classic and elegant fashion for women.
Now let's shift to the economic side of this time period that changed the way Americans lived, the creation of the interstate highway system.
In 1956, President Dwight D. Eisenhower created the expansive network of highways, a huge project that changed transportation forever.
For many Americans, the construction of the interstate highway was a dream come true. Detroit had increased the industry of automobiles, so it was important to find faster and more efficient ways to travel.
The influence of the Cold War played a large role in the development of this system. Military forces needed quick transportation for supplies and the ability to quickly evacuate in the event of a national emergency. Eisenhower used Germany's Autobahn system as an inspiration for making a system that would benefit the U.S. both for travel and military purposes.
Construction began in 1956, and by the end of the year, more than 2,200 miles of the highway had been built, and is still current to this day.
One thing that is interesting to note is the distribution of these highways. The East Coast has a much denser network of roads compared to the West Coast. This is due to the higher population density in the East and more developed infrastructure in these areas.
Exactly. In fact, major areas like New York City or Chicago were some of the first to benefit from these expanded highways. These urban areas had thriving economies and large populations that benefited from more efficient transportation.
The growth of the highway system helped the expansion of suburbs, making it easier to live further from work and be able to commute more easily. This marked a shift in the American lifestyle and economy. Families could now afford to buy homes outside of the city, leading to more suburban house marketing.
Now let's transition to the policies that President Truman created.
Harry S. Truman signed the Employment Act of 1946 to promote the economic stability and full employment. After World War II, I'm sure we all feared the return of the Great Depression due to no longer need for wartime jobs.
Truman focused on shifting the economy from military to production to consumer goods, managing demobilization. Therefore, this act was aimed to ensure economic growth and opportunities for soldiers who had returned and civilians.
Specifically, this act added a flow to the control of the economy in the United States. First, the Council of Economic Advisors, who were a group of economists advertising an economic policy for the president.
A joint economy committee was created to review the economy and recommend actions. Truman's signature marked a turning point in the federal government's role in managing the economy. But Truman did not stop there. He additionally established the Housing Act of 1949, the Marshall Plan in 1948, the Failed Deal Program, and strongly supported the GI Bill, which was passed under FDR and more.
Even though these acts led to a major positive impact on American economy and society, often these benefits secluded the minority groups, such as the Black Americans, due to discrimination. This further led to the segregation and displacement in workplaces, and tension rising between economic growth and labor rights.
As we reflect on the decade, it's clear that the 1950s laid the foundation for many of the social and political movements that would later come into the 1960s.
That's right, Nancy. The 1950s were truly a crucial time in American history, and today's broadcast only mentioned a small part of this fascinating decade.
We hope you enjoyed this journey back to the fabulous 50s. Be sure to tune in next time for more insights into the past right here on Back to the Past.
Until then, I'm Susan.
And I'm Nancy, wishing you a wonderful rest of your day.